Hey guys, it's Jay. If you're new to DCS or new to helicopters, this is going to be a great video for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cover just some of the basics. We're going to talk about taking off, we're going to talk about hovering, and we're going to talk about landing. Now, I'm not one of those guys that goes per se by the book. I'm not really one of those that's a gauge watcher. I look out the window and I see what's going on and then I adjust. Now, if you're new to helicopters, it's nothing like flying an airplane. In a helicopter, that thing's not supposed to fly. It's going to be a constant movement of all your limbs. Your feet are going to be adjusting the anti-torque pedals, or rudders as I call them. You're going to be constantly on the collective, your joystick, and you're going to be your cyclic rather. You're going to be constantly on your cyclic, which is your joystick, and you're going to be up and down on your collective all the time. It's just a non-stop thing. That's the way you fly helicopters. So some of this stuff may be a little bit hovering, maybe a little bit tricky for you at first, but my advice is go up, learn to take off. Don't worry about landing yet. You're going to crash. It's just inevitable. You're going to crash. Learn to take off, learn how everything moves, learn how to use the collective, learn how to use your cyclic, what it does to the aircraft, learn what the rudders are going to do, the pedals are going to do for you. So get to that stage. It's probably not going to happen overnight. You know, it may take you a little bit of time. And then as you get better, you'll realize, okay, now I can learn to land. Now I can learn to hover. So don't be intimidated by it. It's a challenge, man. It's hard. It's hard at first, but after a few hours, everything becomes second nature and you're going places and doing things that you didn't even know you could do. And honestly, you're not even thinking about it. Your body's it's just going through the motions. You're telling yourself, hey, I'm going to go over there by that building, and your body just does whatever it does, and before you know it, there you are. So again, this is going to be a very basic course: how to take off, how to land, and how to hover. So I hope you enjoy it. Leave your comments, like, share, subscribe. All that stuff really helps the channel. And again, leave your comments. Tell me what you think. If there's other videos that you'd like me to produce, let me know. I'm all about being engaged, and I always try to reach out to everybody that leaves a comment. So if it's a few days go by, it's because there's a bunch and I got to get to them. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoy the video.
First things first, I've already centered my cyclic, my joystick, my rudder pedals are working, as you can see, and my collective is already engaged with my controller. So the first thing is, sometimes you want to watch the torque. I typically don't watch it, but I can tell you at between about 30 and 40 is where it's going to start to lift off. Okay, now this is your engine RPMs. Obviously you want to keep it in the green. I almost never watched that when I first started. I didn't watch it. I watched it more actually when I first started, and I was constantly having problems with it. So after you've been flying for a while, you get it. You don't really need to watch it anymore. So at this point, we are just going to go by looking out the window, seeing what it feels like, and adjusting. Now I've got a butt kicker or a base shaker. You may have a base shaker. I actually have a butt kicker, and to be honest, I have some Dayton audio transducers attached as well. So they're all outfitted underneath my system, so I can feel the rotors, I can feel things when they're happening, I can feel doors closing and things. So it really is immersive, and it helps me to gauge what the aircraft is doing. So in this case, we're ready to go. I'm going to lift the collective. The idea is we're going to lift up, we're going to hover a bit, and then we're going to take off and go do some stuff. All right, so guys, we're in the Huey. We're going to come up just a bit, and I'm going to pull up slowly on the collective. You can see my torque is going to move. It's going to start to press in. I get real light right there, and I can feel the aircraft come off the ground. So the idea is everything is just real basic. You can see my rudder, my anti-torque pedals or my rudder pedals. I got heavy left foot, pressing heavily on the left foot because the torque wants the aircraft to move the other direction. So I'm not doing anything too harsh. I'm just kind of keeping things real easy on the cyclic, the collective. Not really doing too much, nothing fancy, nothing too harsh. Just keeping it right there. Again, if I adjust the collective, I've got to adjust the rudders. They go hand in hand no matter what. So that's what it looks like. Now the idea is to look out, kind of look out, you say anywhere from 10 to 50 feet. And that's about right. It depends on where you're at, you know, what's in front of you. I like to look out my window here, my left window, and just kind of use that as a gauge. Sometimes I use the little window where my co-pilot would sit. But I'm constantly looking around. I'm not really just fixated at one spot, but I can tell you that I'm not looking too much at the ground. I'm more looking out, just let my body do what, or let my aircraft do kind of what it feels like it needs to do. I'm seeing it, I'm feeling it, really doing not a whole lot as far as moving things around. Now, I will be honest, hovering is not the easiest thing to do. I would probably, obviously you want to practice as much as you can, but boy, I tell you, when you first start out, you're going to be frustrated as hell. So don't be too discouraged if you can't get it. Don't worry about it, it'll come. The more you fly, the better you get at it. All right, so as you can see, I'm almost doing nothing. I still got a lot of left rudder in. So we're gonna keep it right here. We're gonna do a tail turn. We're gonna turn to the left. We're just gonna kind of keep it right where it's at. I'm gonna drift a little bit because that's what choppers do. I'm just gonna kind of go in a circle. I'm liking all that. I'm liking all that. And as you can see, I'm giving it a lot of left rudder. And we're right back to where we were. And we're still hovering. And again, I almost didn't do anything. I had to adjust slightly on the collective, but not much. All right, now we're going to do a right turn, a tail turn to the right. So basically, I'm just releasing some of the tension I have on the left, on my left foot. So this is a right turn. And you know, again, I'm not drifting very far. I'm hardly moving the cyclic, not even really adjusting the collective. Now again, I'm looking at that C-130, trying to keep it in the same spot on that window. I'm glancing down at the pavement kind of underneath, but not too much. I'm really focused more on things that are kind of at a distance. And of course, I'm wiggling my toes, taking breaths. Sometimes you forget to breathe. And I'm definitely real light on the cyclic. Real light. I mean, just barely touching it, honestly. Again, you're going to get to a point where you're really just going to think about it and your body's just going to react. You're not going to have to tell yourself, well, add collective or add rudder or add cyclic. It's just going to happen. All right, so we've been hovering here for a bit. Let's do a vertical climb. I'm just going to pull up on the collective. I'm going to adjust my rudder pedals as I need to. So we're going to go up. I'm just going to pull up on the collective very slowly. What we're going to do is we're going to call this a vertical climb out. Let's try to stay away from VRTS or VRS, and then we're just going to roll out. Transitional move into motion. All right, so that's how you do a hover and a lift off. That's a vertical lift off. Now we're going to come over here. We are going to land, so we're going to work our way over to the flight line. Now we're going to come back and land at the end of the runway. So forgive me if I'm looking around too much for you on my VR headset, so I'm making you a little motion sickness. My bad. But that's what you do in VR, man. VR is the way to go. Okay, so we're going to try to land at the very end of the runway where the black tire marks end. So what I like to do, they say that you got to have a good side picture, you got to set it up, and you always kind of want to be consistent. So for me, I'm going to try to put that end of that runway right at the top of my panel here. That's the idea. All right, I'm going to try to keep it there, and I'm going to adjust collective, and I'm going to adjust cyclic. And of course, anytime you move your rudder, anytime you move your collective, you're gonna have to adjust your rudders, your anti-torque pedals. Let's just call them rudders because that's easier to say. But they are, on a helicopter, they are called anti-torque pedals. All right, so I'm gonna start making my descent. I'm at about 4,000 feet. Of course, I'm in Nevada, so the altitude is much higher. It's not real altitude. I'm at about 180 feet realistically. So I'm gonna start making my way down to those piano keys. I'm keeping the piano keys right above my panel. And I'm gonna start pushing in on the collective, going down with it. And I'm just adjusting my cyclic to kind of keep me going that same direction, still giving it some left rudder pedals, and I'm just making my way down to it, keeping it right above my panel. Now, if you're just starting out, you're gonna crash. So don't be worried about that. It's just natural, don't be frustrated. One day you're gonna wake up and you'll just be able to do it. So I'm working my way down. As you can see, I'm getting pretty close to where I wanna be. Again, everything is, you move one, you gotta move the other. So I like where I'm at right here. It's gonna kind of hover. I'm still moving down the collective, adjusting my cyclic as I need to. And I'm just gonna put it down right here in the center of these piano keys. Real easy. And touchdown. We are on the ground. All right, nice and simple. All right, let's go do that again. So let's just do a takeoff. I'm gonna pull forward. We're gonna take off towards the end of the runway there. I'm gonna go over those lights. I'm gonna pull up on the collective, gain some altitude, applying left rudder. And I'm gonna push forward on the cyclic. We're gonna rotate forward. Still keeping my cyclic pushing forward. My left rudder pedal, adjusting my cyclic, my collective, I want to stay low. All right, so now I'm going to release my rudders. So now I'm flying straight. If I wanted to go right, if I wanted to turn to the right, I'm going to add some right pedal. You can see how it cocks the aircraft sideways. If I want to go to the left, I apply left pedal, and it's going to turn the aircraft to the left. So when you turn it, you do a combination of pushing the cyclic over to the left, a little bit of left pedal. Now again, I've got the butt kicker on, so I can feel all that turbulence. I can feel the rudders. I'm sorry, I can feel the rotors, the blades above. I can feel all that. So yeah, I watch the gauges, but I really don't watch them too much. I can feel what the aircraft is doing. All right, so let's do that again. We're going to come down and land at the end of that runway. On this end, we're going to put those piano keys right above my panel. I'm at about 500 feet. It's kind of high, but I got a good side picture. I feel good about it. This is going to be kind of a steep one, so I'm bringing the collective down quite a bit. But again, I'm keeping that panel. I'm keeping those piano keys right above my panel, and I'm using my cyclic to kind of keep me there. I don't want to do anything too far. I don't want to have to flare too much. I was a little bit close. I'm probably going to miss it. Let's see what I can do. That was pretty steep, so we're going to flare to the right, to the left a bit. See if I can recover. Good recovery. I screwed that one up. All right. I was a little too high coming in too steep on that one, to be honest with you. It didn't feel good to me. All right, so let's come back and let's do a low one while we're here. I'm just going to move over. I'm going to line myself up, get a good side picture. Set it up pretty good. And again, we are about 160 feet. And I'm going to keep those piano keys right above my panel. And I'm just going to push down on the collective, make the aircraft come down. I'm going to adjust my cyclic as I need to. And I'm going to adjust my pedals my rudder pedals as I need to. As you can see, I'm almost always, I got a habit of flying with a lot of left rudders. So here I am right here. I'm going to put myself down right in the middle. That's looking pretty good. I'm just going to let it drop. Right there. Touchdown. All right, guys. So that concludes this video. I hope it made sense to you. I hope if nothing else, you got one or two nuggets out of it. Like always, like, share, subscribe, make a comment, leave a comment. I always love engaging with you guys. I like to know what you're thinking, good or bad. Yeah, there's the haters that are out there, which they're everywhere. But I always try to reply back, whether I'll give you a thumbs up, a heart, or something. I always try to reply back. So if you have comments, leave them in the details. And you know, I appreciate the support you guys always give me. I appreciate you guys watching my videos, my TikTok videos, as well as my YouTube videos. Really appreciate it. It inspires me to keep moving, and definitely your comments definitely help, and they inspire me. All right, guys, have a good one. We're gonna take off. We're gonna go do some stuff. Have fun. Have a great day. Yeehaw!